Now it's up to the Department of Justice. Beaumont ISD votes on a voting map for the November election, and one of the men burned in the ExxonMobil refinery fire is back home just in time for Father's Day. Plus, Port Arthur is looking back and moving forward with its plan for next year. 6 News Tonight starts right now.
Live from the Beaulieu Broadcast Center, you're watching KFDM 6 News Tonight at 10 in high definition.
There's no way that I could feel sorry for myself while I'm still sitting here talking to y'all.
Coming home, one of the victims of the ExxonMobil refinery fire is back home for Father's Day. A look at his homecoming today and how he's recovering. Good evening, I'm Ashley Gaston. Thank you for joining us. Kelly has the night off. More on that story in just a few minutes, but first, Beaumont ISD board members met tonight to consider once again voting maps for the district. At tonight's meeting, the board considered 2 maps. Both have been sent to the Department of Justice, which had previously struck down the district's chosen voting maps. According to BISD attorney Melody Chappelle, the board voted 5-2 tonight to use a map that is expected to be given the okay from the Department of Justice. Mike Neal and Tom Neild were the only in dissent. Chappelle said the district is not sure how long the process of approval will take, but that it is expected to be finished by the November election. State troopers are investigating an accident that left a driver dead and a tractor trailer on its side. 45-year-old Jimmy Furman of Zachary, Louisiana, died at the scene. A dispatcher with the Department of Public Safety told KFDM News the truck overturned at about 3:15 this afternoon on Highway 190 in Tyler County near the bridge at Dam B. These are pictures of the accident sent to KFDM News by a man who was driving by the area. State troopers closed the highway while they investigated the accident and cleared the wreckage. The highway reopened a little before 6 tonight. Parents and school officials met today in Port Arthur to discuss how the district plans to move forward with student discipline next school year. Today's meeting comes after a school year with several incidents involving students that brought up questions of safety and how to properly discipline students in the district. The district wanted to hold an open forum to allow parents and students to speak out on the issue.
We can't expect the children that are currently in high school to have the structure and discipline if we didn't start them that way. So we really have to begin when they start school. We have to focus on classroom management. That is extremely important.
This morning's meeting was held at the Port Arthur ISD Administration Building. The ExxonMobil refinery fire killed 2 people and injured 10 others. One of the injured, Lance Smith, has spent the past 2 months in a burn unit in Galveston. But today, just in time for Father's Day, he was allowed to come back home. KFDM reporter Justin Hinton was there for his return.
Lance Smith and his wife Jessica are heading home from a Galveston hospital. It's the first time they've been home since a fire at ExxonMobil burned 80% of his body. A surprise welcome.
I couldn't wait for him to come through here, so I'm glad I came.
And celebration.
We're just wanting to rejoice with the family and welcome them back.
That quickly turned emotional.
So thankful that he's here. Just very thankful.
Welcome home signs line the roadway leading to Smith's home, where eager family, friends, and church members are excited to see and talk to him. A reunion 2 months in the making. More signs of encouragement for the father and husband on his road to recovery.
He goes to therapy for his arms and his face and his legs, but they want us to work with him at home, but it's hard to push him because you can see him hurt.
But she says the improvement makes it worthwhile.
I'm pretty much closed up to my knees, to my elbow on this arm and this whole arm, and my back and chest are pretty good. So just my head and a few little spots, and I'll be that much closer.
He says trying to wash his head is the most painful part of the process, but faith and the thoughts of what he'll be able to do keep him going.
I'm waiting. I got to do a lot of physical therapy so I can hold my baby. Cause see, I can't make a fist yet. I can't turn my wrist over all the way. But they don't mind hurting me, so they're gonna get it straight
a painful recovery aided through the support and love of friends and family.
It's one day at a time. That's all you can do. Just keep your faith in the Lord and stay strong, stay positive.
In Beaumont, Justin Hinton, KFDM 6 News.
Lance Smith is scheduled to go back to the burn unit in Galveston on Monday to continue his recovery. After learning that FEMA won't provide any more assistance to help the town of West recover from a devastating fertilizer plant explosion, Governor Rick Perry said that he hopes President Obama will stay true to his word to help the town's residents continue on their recovery.
I was on the stage in Waco when the President of the United States looked into the eyes of the people of West Texas and said, we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that you are taken care of. And so this doesn't square.
But even as FEMA wraps up its time in West, people there are still dealing with the aftermath of the explosion. Crews are finishing up demolition.
They prayed in front of what has become the icon of the West disaster. The owner of this apartment complex and her family came together to watch as volunteers began demolishing what remains of the complex mere feet away from the West Fertilizer Company plant that exploded nearly 2 months ago. It was at times emotional.
And to see this come down is a big deal, because I'm tired of looking at it, to be honest with you. Not that it's this pile of rubble, but people's lives were destroyed in this building right here, and they don't need that constant reminder of what happened.
Associate Pastor Phil Immick is organizing the demolition project here and for 50 homes in the surrounding neighborhood. His church, the West First Baptist Church, is paying for the teardowns with donations it received from across the country. Volunteers are also pouring in.
My job is caring for people, and I take it very seriously.
So seriously that Sherry Curtis, an EMT from Little Elm, decided to come to West. She's among the 400 people expected Saturday for the week-long volunteer event called Loving on West.
Just know that you're doing God's work. God wants us to get out and help one another, help our fellow man. So,
we want people to know this is not a deserted area. This is our community. We will rise up from this, and we'll be stronger, we'll be tighter, and we'll be the community we once were, if not better.
Another hot, muggy day outside. What about tomorrow as we wrap up the work week? Greg Bostwick joins us now with a first look at our forecast. Greg?
Well, if you guessed another hot day, you'd be absolutely right. 96 degrees today for the high. We're still at 83 right now at China Elementary, and we could easily hit 96 again tomorrow, maybe even hotter in a few places. We're also looking for a small chance of rain tomorrow. Looking at the satellite view, you'll notice off to our east, thunderstorms have been developing across Mississippi, Alabama, all the way into Arkansas. And this is beginning to turn more southwesterly, so a little energy coming in from the backside here from the east and northeast should be in play for tomorrow. So a couple showers could develop with daytime heating. We'll have the rest of your weekend forecast just a little bit later.
We depend on the weather forecast to know how to dress the next day and when to flee from a hurricane. Tonight, KFDM Chief Meteorologist Greg Bostwick joins Tom Wright on KFDM Listens to talk about the weather. Tom?
Thanks, Ashley. As we hope everyone knows, we're in hurricane season right now, and tonight we'll get you thinking about what that means, and we'll talk about weather forecasting and just about anything else weather-related you want to know. Our guest tonight is our own Greg Bostwick. You can give us a call, and you can ask Greg your weather-related question. We'll get Greg to maybe even explain what that whole dew point versus relative humidity thingy is all about. So join us in the conversation tonight. You can give us a call at 895-4600. That's 895-4600. KFDM Listens following 6 News tonight at 10:35. And as always, hold your phone calls until then.
Thanks, Tom. Coming up later in our 6 on Health report, a medical device used to save lives may also be making people sick. And coming up next, hashtag taking over, why a Twitter staple is now headed to Facebook.
Now, in high definition, you're watching KFDM 6 News tonight at 10 in HD with Kelly Phillips. The latest weather with Chief Meteorologist Greg Bostwick. And sports with Mike Friedman.
A ground-rattling explosion at a chemical plant in Louisiana today, killing at least one person and injuring more than 70 others. 51 of those people have been discharged. The body of a 29-year-old man was found in the plant near Baton Rouge this afternoon. The blast happened around 8:30 this morning and could be felt for miles around.
I don't really care about what y'all say, and I'm doing this right now. It's off my shoulders.
After 11-year-old Sebastian sang the national anthem at Game 3 of the NBA Finals in San Antonio, many Twitter users took offense to his choice of outfit. He was wearing a mariachi outfit, and some racially charged tweets went flying. But Sebastian isn't paying any mind to it. The pint-sized mariachi singer says he's proud to be of Mexican heritage and that his next goal is to sing at the Super Bowl and the World Series. But for now, he sang the national anthem again at tonight's game. Hashtags are coming to Facebook. The social network wants to make it easier for users to find content already on Facebook. And functional hashtags originally found on Twitter are the first step. According to Facebook, many users already post hashtags anyway. Hashtags will be both clickable and searchable. So I've got to ask Greg, do you use hashtags?
No.
Me neither.
I don't. I just don't.
I don't know anything about them, really.
Yeah, it's a hashtag.
Yeah, it's a hashtag. I go to Facebook and say, this is what we're doing now. Hashtag.
We'll do hashtag hot.
Hashtag hot weather. Hashtag.
See Beaumont, Texas today.
There we go.
Yeah,
You got it already?
96 degrees.
All
I mean,
right.
it was hot today, and it looks like it could be just as hot, if not hotter, tomorrow. What about rain chances? We'll take a look, too.
Now, KFDM Chief Meteorologist Greg Bostwick with the latest weather in HD.
Well, we certainly have had a hot day, and we're still dealing with the warm temperatures at night, barely getting into the upper 70s for lows tonight in most areas. A couple showers are possible tomorrow. We'll talk about that more in detail in a moment. And, of course, the tropics, always watching, but nothing to talk about. Good news there. A lot of moisture, though, coming in off the Gulf, kind of a surge of tropical moisture coming in off the western Gulf of Mexico into South Texas. All the thunderstorms really quite active down there, which is kind of unusual. You know, South Texas has a real struggle of getting much rain this time of year. Also notice this band of thunderstorms from southeast of Little Rock, Arkansas, over toward Birmingham and south of Atlanta. This is an upper air disturbance which is beginning to turn more southwesterly with time, and we do believe some of that energy will swing into range tomorrow with some daytime heating to touch off a few thunderstorms. If anything forms, it'll be coming in from the northeast out of Louisiana, so we'll watch for that possibility tomorrow as well as on Saturday. Right now, Father's Day looks dry, and of course we were dry throughout the day here, but thunderstorms were widespread in South Texas. Several areas had 2 to 3 inches of rain, and it's still raining pretty hard right now from Del Rio southward, almost down toward Laredo, certainly down into the Eagle Pass area. So historically that's a real dry area, so they're getting some very welcome rain. Also cool temperatures in the 70s down there because of the rain. Mid to upper 80s though still in North Texas. Dallas at 88 degrees at 10 o'clock at night. You know it was a hot day when it's that warm at 10 o'clock. 98 degrees for their high, 96 in Waco as well as over in Abilene. Also 98, another hot day as well in El Paso. And we had some of the hottest weather in the state right here in East Texas. Still 80 at the airport, 83 in Lufkin. We hit that high of 96 this afternoon. 96 was a real common number. Shreveport, Lufkin, Houston, also Austin and Waco checking in at 96 degrees today. And it looks like overnight we'll continue to have mostly fair skies, a few clouds showing up. And then as we work into the afternoon, watch off to our northeast. Some thunderstorms may develop and swing to the southwest. At least that's what this computer model suggests, and I think it may be onto something there. There will be at least a chance of some storms late in the day. And highs tomorrow, well, we'll start out in the 70s, obviously very warm there, but warming rapidly into the 90s in the afternoon. And with that daytime heating, we could see those showers popping up, especially late in the afternoon. Around the nation, well, it's dominated by high pressure, and that's pretty much centered over us right now. That's blocking any significant rainfall, but we do believe this high will move back to the west into Mexico, off around Baja California, south of California, coming up by the middle part of next week, and that should allow a few showers to begin to form once again. So we'll at least have the opportunity for some rain, especially by around Tuesday or Wednesday. Out of the Gulf of Mexico right now, the seas are light, running 1 to 2 feet. Look for south and southwest winds tomorrow to 14, 15 knots. Water temperature at 85 right now around Sabine Lake. On the weather net, it's pretty calm out there. Winds are light out of the southwest and 82 degrees. The forecast tonight for the lakes will call for partly cloudy skies. You're going to only slowly fall into the 70s, 73, 74 overnight. For the Triangle, partly cloudy skies. Our lows will be down into the upper 70s to low 80s. Very warm. Then tomorrow, another hot afternoon. A few showers around late in the day. Look for highs around 95, 96, and the same for the Triangle. A couple showers could form with daytime heating and that little disturbance coming out of Louisiana. Highs tomorrow in the mid to upper 90s. Extended outlook, dry for Father's Day, then a chance of a few showers. Also backing heat off a little bit because of better winds off the Gulf beginning especially on Sunday.
Oh, those winds sound good. Thanks, Greg.
Mid breeze.
Yes. It's supposed to help, but it could kill. The story next in our 6 on Health Report. Getting sick or dying from something you catch while in the hospital happens more than you think. Nearly 2 million people get infections in hospitals every year, and nearly 100,000 people will die from them. How one nurse's discovery could save lives in tonight's 6 on Health Report.
They can be lifesavers.
This is how we're breathing for them.
But these resuscitation bags, known as ambu bags, may also be a danger.
Every type of a device has its own set of risks.
If contaminated, the ambu bag can collect bacteria, which could be transmitted to the patient and contribute to the potentially deadly ventilator-associated pneumonia. But safety guidelines for using the bags are vague. The CDC recommends only that they be replaced as needed or when they're visibly soiled.
Well, what may be visibly soiled doesn't necessarily mean that it's not infectious, because you can't see bacteria.
That prompted registered nurse Nikki Resnick to lead a study at the University of Tennessee Medical Center to help establish new safety guidelines.
I followed 147 patients and followed them through the first 7 days of their hospital stay if they were intubated, and I would actually take their actual bag. They would seem clean in appearance, but when we swabbed them, they actually did grow at bacterial growth.
Resnick says there was a 7 to 8% chance of contamination on the first 2 days of using the ambu bag, but that number jumped to nearly 30% by days 5 and 6.
And that's what alarmed us, because a lot of people could be ventilated on a ventilator for, anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks.
Thanks to Resnick's discovery, the hospital now changes the filters on its bags every 4 days. I'm Andrew McIntosh reporting.
Just ahead, the Southeast Texas Coaches Association held its first ever softball all-star game tonight. Andrew Chernoff has highlights next in KFDM Sports.
The Southeast Texas Coaches Association All-Star Weekend.
Now, KFDM Sports at HD with Andrew Chernoff.
The Southeast Texas Coaches Association All-Star Weekend is officially underway. It began tonight with its first ever All-Star softball game between the East All-Stars and the West All-Stars. To Memorial High School we go. A great crowd on hand tonight to take in the action, and boy, they were not disappointed as they got to witness a very entertaining game. 2-0 East All-Stars already top of the third when LCM's Raven Cole keeps it going on the mound. We've seen that from her all year long. Bottom of the inning, the East scores again thanks to the fielder's choice from Kirbyville's Heather Falk. That brings in Warren's Kaylin Morvant. Bases still loaded in the inning when West All-Stars Paige Edmonds of Kuntz makes a great play to throw home and get the runner out. But East would still be threatening later. The pitch gets by the catcher, and Newton's Victoria Shelton comes in to score. Tonight, all about the East All-Stars. They win 10-2. The boys and girls basketball All-Star games will be played tomorrow night at East Chambers beginning at 6:30 to continue the SETCA All-Star Weekend. Well, Lamar had a trio of camps today, one for football, one for girls basketball, and one for volleyball. We'll begin with the one for football, where around 45 offensive and defensive linemen participated in today's high school lineman camp. Tomorrow, the LU football program will have a camp for high school skill positions. Of course, we often only talk about those skill positions during games, but in reality, a team's success depends on how it does in the trenches. Just ask Lamar defensive line coach Kerry Bailey.
I don't know about the offensive line, but defensive line, as long as we're making plays, we're doing good. But, it's critical. Everything starts up front. Offensive line, defensive line. If the offense is going to move and the offensive line is playing well, the defense is getting stops and the defensive line is playing well.
Today I'm learning a lot because me having such a large stature, it's like I have to do more than most of the other guys. So he's teaching me how to keep my weight and, how to do the best on my side.
I'm learning how to do pass sets and stuff that I don't normally do it with the offense that do runs. I'm learning how to do better footwork, just be a better lineman.
We now head over to the building that sits behind the north end zone of the football stadium. That will be the Montaigne Center. 71 girls ages 6 through 17 took part in the second day of the LU Individual Skills Camp. The 3-day camp concludes tomorrow. The Lamar coaching staff spent a lot of time teaching the players the basics because, as Coach Harmony says, knowing the fundamentals is one of the most important skills you can learn in basketball. And speaking of Coach Harmony, this was her first camp that her staff has put on in the 409, and that's something that the coach has been waiting for some time.
Like I keep saying about the people in Beaumont and the surrounding areas, they're such good people, and now I finally get a chance to meet the players, the future players, and their parents, and it's just starting to build for our future of our program.
We've been excited about the turnout, and we've had over 70 kids, and we've been, we came in late, and to get 70-something kids and get this turnout is great.
My main responsibility have been the little ones right here. We've had a great time, though. You got to keep them entertained, keep them busy, but it's going good so far.
You may not recognize those last two coaches there because, well, they were just hired on the LU coaching staff. We'll hear from both Coach Schneider and Coach Walker about their new positions coming up tomorrow. Time to go across Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway to the McDonald Gym, where the Lamar volleyball program concluded its youth camp today. It was a full house inside the gym today as there were 36 participants, all of which are getting ready for junior high. LU head coach Justin Jabert said that his staff worked with the kids on serving, passing, setting, and hitting this week. And if those players can retain the information they learned on those basics, then they'll be in good shape as they move forward in their playing careers.
We want them to have a great time, we want them to have fun, and we want them to create some great habits that, in a couple years they'll be using in junior high. So that's really our goal, is to get a first great experience with the game, to have a lot of fun, but also to create some really good habits. If you start before junior high age, you really kind of get a great exposure to it, and that's what we want to do here.
As you can tell, it was a fun time at Lamar today, but as Robert Sloan explains in this week's Outdoor Report, it's also a fun time to go fishing as plenty of the fish are biting.
2 tagged reds have been caught and confirmed as winners in the CCA Star Tournament. One of those reds was caught in Galveston and the other at Surfside. Each of those reds is worth a truck, boat, motor, and trailer package. Snapper fishing out of Sabine and Galveston has been exceptional since the season opener on June 1. Some of the heaviest snapper fish in the 15 to 25 pound class are coming from around rigs in 75 to 200 feet of water. Best baits are jigs tipped with whole pogies. Catches of crappie are excellent on both Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. Live minnows are best over brush at night. Jigs are better during daylight hours. On Rayburn, chartreuse and white tube jigs are taking lots of crappie over brush in 23 feet of water. Right now, most of the crappie are suspended near the tops of brush piles. Hey everybody, that's a look outdoors today. I am Robert Sloan. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great weekend outdoors.
And finally tonight, your best fishing game forecast peaking tomorrow at both 6 a.m. and 6:20 p.m. Also tonight, the Southeast Texas Coaches Association is hosting a golf tournament tomorrow morning at Brentwood Country Club. We will have reaction from the outing tomorrow at 6 p.m. More 6 News tonight after this.
Now, I'm guessing rain isn't, cool weather isn't in the forecast?
No, it's,
Yeah,
it's
of course not.
96 today. Could it be hotter tomorrow? Possibly. And there will be a small chance of rain too. Sunday, of course, Father's Day. Don't forget Dad. 93 degrees there and low 90s. A little bit cooler because I have better winds off the Gulf next week.
All right, that's it for us here tonight. However, stay tuned because KFDM Listens with Tom Wright is up next. Hold your phone calls for just a few more minutes. Good night.